pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. David, would you mind calling roll?
Whitney Tucker, Jim Ferguson,
Here.
Laura Oliver,
Here.
Tom Hooper,
Here.
Joe Steiger,
Here.
Dina Kreitler,
Here.
Roseanne Honey, Christine Alexander,
Here.
Karen Stupi.
Here.
All right, we'll move on to the approval of the agenda. I have a motion to approve the agenda for tonight.
I'll make a motion.
And Laurel, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes of previous meeting. Does anybody want to make a motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
All right, got a good team going. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's take a look at the financial report. Let's look at the bottom line. Get there. Okay.
If you look, it looks like June hasn't been reported yet, which of course we're only in the middle of June. July, August, and September till the end of our fiscal year. So looks like we're going to be close to kind of our annual $31,000, $32,000, $33,000, I guess, in lodging receipts. So I guess we're on track there.
I'm not surprised by April.
Say that again.
I'm surprised by the April numbers because I really expected us to have more than that with the eclipse.
The same killed it last year in April.
Mhm.
And I guess it also depends on when they report. If they're quarterly, or maybe those don't.
We should have.
That might be reported this month.
Yeah, they might backtrack
This
and
month
catch
and
back
next
up.
month,
Yeah,
yeah,
because
maybe.
you probably have 30. Yeah. So it might still jump back up. Those might have been just the monthly people reporting and not quarterly people.
Maybe. That could be. We'll find out next month, I guess.
Yep. There was two expenses on there, Aaron, for the CTM Media and the County Fair TTC grant.
Where do we see that? Sorry.
On the back page for the ledger.
Over $500 and then $345.
Okay.
10 is the grant cards, and PTC approved the grant for the county to use, produce some funds for marketing in Jefferson County and surrounding counties to get people in there.
Perfect.
Thank you for clarifying that, Happy. Have any other remarks, anything like that about the financial report? All right, we'll open it up to public comment.
Yeah, you got to introduce yourself, got to say who you are.
Well, thank you. Tim Heller is my name. I wanted to thank you guys for granting the truck show the grant that you guys did. We had 85 trucks from out of town come. We had 10 that was just local. I think we had close to 500 people that attended the event. We had a bunch of positive feedback from the people who visited St. Genevieve, so much so that we're going to do this again next year, except we're going to do a 2-day. We're going to have an event Friday night and then Saturday. So I just want to thank you guys for the opportunity to do that. And we look forward to maybe hopefully working with you guys again next year. So any questions or anything?
Anything you were able to purchase, or what did you?
Yes, with the money that we received from you guys, we were able to purchase signage, everything I need to move forward from now on. So anything that we got, I don't have to rebuy. So everything from this point going forward, I pretty much have. We are going to establish a website with this. I'm working on getting a QR code so you can just. We've been going to car shows all week. Made kind of a little flyer just to get the word out. But if I get a QR code made, you just scan it, tells you all the information. Since we're doing it so far in advance, I'm going to touch base this week with the hotel and try to book, a block for people. That'll be on the website as well. So all the money was used in a productive way. Nothing was wasted, and
Excellent.
all my stuff that you guys helped me provide, I won't have to rebuy. So everything moving forward will just be pretty much easy. So we'd like to make this the biggest Ford truck show in Missouri. So with the furthest attendance we had, we had 5 guys come from Lake of the Ozarks, 1 from Indiana, 1 from Kentucky. Right now we already have some guys committed to come down from Wisconsin. So we're shooting for 150 trucks next year.
Those guys trailer those trucks a lot of times or drive them themselves? A little bit of
When we
both.
call a weenie, you trailer yours, but no, for the most part, the really, really nice ones were trailered. And then the rest of the guys drove those.
So those guys did a lot of them stay overnight, you think?
I know 10 for sure stayed in the local area, but the microtail was booked for a baseball game that a tournament that was canceled. So I don't know if all those rooms got used or not. So I'm going to try to go ahead and book 10 to 20 rooms or work with them. And I know some guys stayed in Festus and some guys stayed in Perryville. So that helped. I was going to say something else about the trucks you said. Oh, we have one of the trucks that came was actually featured on TV. It was made at a shop in St. Louis. So he went back to those guys, told them about the show, and they want to participate next year too. So it gained a lot of traction. And like I said, next year we're shooting for 150 to 300. So we want this to be the biggest truck show in Missouri. So Ford truck. You want to drive your Chevy, you got to park it in the parking lot. But you have any other questions? Or?
I appreciate your grassroots
Yeah.
sort of campaign to get people out. I think that's super effective.
Yeah, I think with the website's gonna start reaching. Facebook is just such a tool that every Ford. There's 3 Ford websites that cover the entire U.S. You just start putting it out there. They start looking, they look, and then Missouri itself has a car show website that allows you to put your flyer on there, and they go by date. So anybody wants to go to a car show, clicks the date, and every car show pops up. So I'm utilizing Facebook pretty good. I'd like to get the website started, and we had a guy from Perryville. He has a sound system that worked out great. If you guys ever want to use that, his name's Mike Warren. I think the fair used it before, so he helped us out with the sound system. We had 3 food trucks. They all said they did pretty good, so I learned a little bit more about it. We anticipated having more people because of the baseball tournament, but I think 500 is pretty good turnout for a truck show. So. We also had a lot of good feedback about the tour. Some guys went, some guys didn't. We had guys say that the county's just beautiful. We took a lap through M Road out that way, and then we came back through town. And we had guys that lived here their whole life said, "Oh man, the cruise was cool." I'm like, "You ride on that road every day," but that's good. Good feedback. So, but I just want to tell you guys thank you, and I appreciate it. So,
Thank you.
We get you out of here fast enough, Tim?
No, perfect. Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, moving on to old business. We have past events. We have the French Heritage Festival and the Jeep syndrome, Down syndrome ride were the same day. I was a little locked in with the French Heritage Festival because we had the Horizons grant and I needed to see how that went. Potentially with the French Heritage Festival, we could lock in a humanities grant for $15,000 every year for this. So I wanted to make sure, see how it ran, and there's some positives, there's some negatives there. But it's definitely one of those festivals that we need to hang our hats on. This is a French town, and I think it's got a pulse. There's some really cool aspects of it. Just need to, just needs a little bit better organization, I think. Did anybody go to the UTV, the Jeep Down syndrome ride?
Yeah. I was there. I volunteered for a
Nice.
few hours. It was really good. There was a lot of people up there. I think they had, I think Chip said like 576 riders, or they were
Wow.
estimating that. I don't know what the final number was,
Sure.
but there were a lot of people up there. Yeah, before the ride, everybody's going through the youth building, they're registering, and then they're buying their raffle tickets and putting their tickets inside the buckets of the items that they'd like to try and win. But I thought it was really good. There was a lot of things to do. There was activities up there for the kids, and there was food trucks, and then some of the local organizations had their stands up there, like the Eagles and the Knights of Columbus. So I think those organizations did really well, like especially after the ride, because I was up there and they really got slammed after the ride was over with. I guess everybody was hungry and thirsty. So I wasn't there for the bands, that night, but during the day, they definitely had a good crowd and they had a lot of riders.
Yeah.
So I think all in all, it went very well. And then I was working with Chip for the event because I'm the liaison. So I think the county, we try to work with him as much as we can, as far as, we allowed people to camp up there, and they had a lot of people camping up there for a few days. And yeah, the grounds were well utilized.
Nice.
And yeah, so, and I think that gives good exposure for the fairgrounds, and hopefully that helps the fair too. I think
Yeah.
when people see the grounds and, want to come back to the fair. So I think it's good exposure.
Sure.
But all in all, I thought it went really well. They do a fantastic job. I mean, that's like all volunteers that pull that together. I don't know how they do it, but they do it, and they do a great job at it. So I can tell you, I thought it was really well planned out, and yeah, they did a great job. So kudos to them.
Good to hear. Also, last weekend, the Promenade des Arts started. That's another really cool thing. I love that we had the art colony here. This is a retrospective of Joseph Forst's work. He has a really interesting past, and for people who are into art, trying to pull the Kirkwood people and the people from St. Louis down to come see this. I mean, I just walked around with people from McCon and Burr Gallery. Yeah, Burr Gallery. The guy's name's Steve Kerr, so I was trying to Burr. So McCon and Burr, they're the ones who printed the St. Genevieve Art Colony book, and they deal a lot in that sort of art. So they came down and to take a look at the work. I mean, it's a really great show, and I helped them a lot with doing the promotional material. I don't want to do that for everyone, but I feel like certain events that really need some help like that really I think should have a big draw. I like to help out as much as possible. But that'll be going on through the 30th. So if you guys, and I think the gallery opens from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So if you have a chance to check that out, that's part of our heritage. That's really quite cool that we can capitalize on moving forward. And I went Friday night for the opening. It was really well attended. Some of Vorst's great grandchildren were there, and they played. They had like a little cello violin sort of duo going. So it was really cool to have the guy's work and his great grandchildren playing alongside. It was so. I think there was 19 of his family members. They all stayed at the Southern Hotel because Vorst. They used to own that block. They used to own ASL Pewter, the Southern Hotel, and that whole block right there. So. Pretty cool stuff, part of our history. So, upcoming events, the Honey Festival and Markets coming up. What a great new event. Amanda Hutchings does a great job. I'm really looking forward to seeing that for the first time. It coincides with a lot of the stuff that we do, but I think, this is new. You'll see a lot of young people out at this festival, I think, because there's a kind of new movement of DIYers, people wanting to raise their own food, raise their own honey and things like that. So it'll be definitely a different crowd, and I'm excited to see how Amanda runs the festival.
Moonlight Madness coming up July 19th.
Not trying to.
Yeah, you're fine. So
Yeah,
that's Dazed and Confused theme this year. So that's gonna be a little fun and exciting. I don't think the flyers are out yet. We haven't
I haven't seen
seen one yet. It's in the works. We just had that meeting last week.
That's right. Yeah, and it's a car ride through the.
Yeah, so we actually collaborated with the Gearheads Car Club, and they're gonna be doing a car cruise.
Oh, you did get with them?
We
Cool.
did, yep. They're very excited about it. So, and they actually,
On the 20th, 21st, we also have an event at our 10th annual here in town with traditional artisan event in the studio. We have 6 guest artists coming as far away from Virginia. This time, a glassblower who was here last year had such a great show. He wants to come back, as well as artists who've been here for a number of years. And Pat has posters in the back, but he wants to put me up after the event, the meeting.
Well, that's excellent. So the Moonlight Madness, just going back to that, it's another downtown St. John. And we all know the quality of events they put forward, so we're looking forward to that. And then what is the name of the?
It's just an artisan event, and we've been 3 of our artisans that I know of will be open Friday night for Moonlight Madness as well. They agreed to come in early and set up.
Excellent.
good job.
Cool. Do some cross-promotional stuff for that. All right, anything else on old business? All right, we'll move on to the tourism director report. So we decided to go ahead with adding Visit Widget to our arsenal. Visit Widget's a tool. Right now we're managing all of our website stuff in-house and doing a little bit with our website manager, Jay Rudney, but it's very hard, as you know, to gather all of that information as far as like what's going on, what time, when. Very hard for one person. And then we're expected to kind of do our own writing for these events too. And that's a dicey subject, when you're trying to represent someone's event or someone's business. So this will actually comb Facebook and websites. And first it embeds an interactive map on our website. So one of the big reasons why I chose to go with this is because I realized, we're taking out advertisements and we're putting visitstgen.com. So when, we're spending a good money on these advertisements, you're driving people to the website and they kind of hit a brick wall. It's not interactive. Our website's kind of stuck in 2009, so they get to the website and it's very hard to navigate. There's no interactive maps where they can see where things are. And I know they get on, because if it were me, I would get on and go, well, what is this? Now I see where, it describes the event, but how do I buy tickets? Are there tickets? Where is all this information? You're then stuck to go out to a third party and get on Google and search it again. It adds frustration to the mix. So Visit Widget will fix some of those things. For one, it'll embed an interactive map on our website where you can open it up and see, okay, wow, okay, we have all this stuff in the county, and then we have a big concentration in the city, and they'll be able to go through and kind of go through businesses. And it even allows you, it builds an app for us as well. I'm not sure how super helpful that is. It'll be a kind of a challenge, I think, to get people to download the app. But it basically allows people to plan a trip. So, they grab little places and put it in there. Well, this is my itinerary. They build an itinerary basically through it. And then the other part is there's another addition that you can add on that combs the internet for festivals in your area. And then it populates the website with festivals. So you have an interactive map, and then under you have a list of festivals in chronological order. And hopefully, I can from there talk with different businesses and the people putting on these events to showing them how to put the information on the internet so that they can find it. And I think that'll be a better protocol than what we have now, which is trying to, get all, wrangle all this information ourselves. So this way we can put a little bit more onus on the businesses and the organizations putting on these events. And have a little bit more cohesiveness there. And the other part is, right now with our website, we don't have any metrics of how are we converting people who come to our website to making a trip in St. Genevieve. With this tool, it provides an easier path.
So advertisement drives people to the website. From the website, they either went directly to the, let's say, they went to Main Street Inn and they booked a room, or they went to the Southern Hotel and booked a room, or they got on Eventbrite and, booked that event at Charlottesville Brewery. And especially with how many events Charlottesville and Chalmette and Dewdrop Inn and those places put on events, this will be a big time saver. So I'm hoping that it's going to be really good. There's also some other different things. We've been talking about adding things to St. Jim that kind of help with the wayfinding around. We've even kicked around like putting up digital kiosk and things like that. This is the kind of thing where we can plug in everything that we have from Visit Widget onto these digital kiosks. So it's definitely that versatile as well. So I think that'll be super cool moving forward. During the French Heritage Festival, we really bumped up our content library. So with the Horizons grant, part of that.
And on that,
Sorry, yeah.
So like on the community calendar, we'll Visit Widget. I forget, because it's been a while since Tantalin presented that to us. So I forget kind of all the kind of features and kind of, but does it have a calendar of events? Does it kind of curate or kind of manage part of that? I know that's one complaint we get all the time, is that it's hard to find all the events that we have going on. You look at the ones that we know of, and then we got another one just popped up,
Right.
Not just popped up. I know you've done it multiple years, but
Right, but yeah, but like, how do we keep all that?
Yeah.
And that's what it does. And like I said, it'll be up to Tom to upload that on his website so it can be found. But yeah, it'll definitely. Like I said, we have so many events, and not only that, if you really go countywide, and Charlottesville every 2 weeks is doing a special event or having a special.
Beige Farms and
Yeah, right.
Farm, the Fun Farm,
The Fun Farm, yeah, Critter Lane, all that stuff. I mean, I'm having trouble keeping up with just the city events, but and the ones that have been around for a long time. So this will definitely. It's a different part of Visit Widget that they took on another partner called Occasion Genius, and they're the ones that provide that service. So it's a little bit of an add-on, but we need it, especially because that's what we hang our. I mean, this is a very much an events and festival city. That's what we use. I mean, I'm hoping that we get to where this is more of a 7-week destination. But for now,
what's that mean? A 7-week destination?
7 weeks, 7 day a week. Yeah, 7 weeks. I want this to be only 7 weeks. Yeah, thank you.
Spend the summer here.
Yeah.
Oh, so spend a week as opposed to a day or over.
Right. Just, we want people on the streets every day of the week. And I think, we're so focused on events that we get lost in that. So, I'd like to maybe see our events kind of thin out and we get to the best ones and keep or just keep for me, I guess, I really like the French events and keeping the French calendar things alive. But, I don't know. It's,
we're very weekend heavy, and so
Right.
trying to get some of those things through the week, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, we'll have an ability to do like almost a year at a glance on when you get into it at events and dates, and pop that up so people can see
exactly
how heavy it is.
No, yeah, there'll definitely be that ability. The thing is, like when I first got into the position, it's like, as soon as the year starts, I think it was like not until March till we really nailed down all the correct dates for these festivals. I mean, that's not very good. I don't think, we have events that start in January, but just give people handouts that are like, oh, here's the wrong dates. I mean, we've got to start to try to mitigate that at some point. And it's a multi-pronged problem to try to fix for, one person and not what was me, but I'm trying to address that. So yeah, I think putting a little bit more onus on the event coordinators and just having a good, a coherent message, not just like, hey, put this here, but I don't know. I know Tana Lynn was trying to do a little bit of that too, having a place where people can put everything where it's all in one place, but hopefully this will make it easier. And I think the big thing is it's going to make our website more interactive and more clear. And right now that's what people want. People don't want to just read something and go, oh, good. Okay. I gotta, what's the name of that again? And then get back on Google and try to find it. So this will help a lot. Any more questions on that? I'll move on to the next part. Like I said,
I do have a question. When are you starting to implement that?
Oh, right. So I do a kickoff meeting with Visit Widget next Tuesday. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for them, but we also have to use funds. The person that runs our website is Jay Rudney, or the company. Jay Rudney will take over from Visit Widget mid-July to start building the website around that. We'll actually get a little bit of a website refresh with that, which will be super helpful as well. And so hopefully by the end of August, end of August, beginning of August, we'll have that implemented. Then we'll open up a whole new can of worms at that point. So like I was saying, during the French Heritage Festival the day before, I was able to really beef up our content library. I brought in McDaniel's media team, so they had a photographer and a videographer that came to town. We did a number of interviews with people from, that hold stake in agritourism here, the history, people who are artists in town, to try to get a holistic view of what St. John is and to get people talking about what they love about living here. That's going to be really great to put on our website. We also took a ton of photos, went to a bunch of different locations, brought some models in. You'll see familiar faces on that. Brad Arnold and his family did some modeling for us, so that was great. We went out to Pickle Springs and did some hiking around there, ate at the Anvil, ate at Pat's Pastries, that sort of thing. Went to the Museum Learning Center and just really took some great photos. And I think this is some of the best stuff we've ever had as far as marketing material that way. So McDaniel's will be able to put that on our website, but they're going to be handling a lot of our paid advertisements and print ads and Google and Facebook display ads. And so they'll handle a lot of that and they'll be able to use those photos, but they are top notch. And I brought them along during the French Heritage Festival so they could get some photos of the festival, but also they brought a drone. And I had some money in the budget of the Horizons grant for the French Heritage Festival to bring in a videographer. And so I wanted to kind of get some drone footage to throw into those videos as well. And I just got those back today. I should have had us put it on the TV because they're pretty excellent. Still got one more edit to go, but they're cool. They make that festival look really good. And the last thing, that might be what I have. Yeah, I think that's it. Anybody have any questions?
Awesome.
All right, new business. We got some spicy things on the on the agenda tonight. We have elections, electing a chairperson, a vice chairperson, a secretary, and a treasurer.
You looking for some nominations?
I would love that. I think that's good.
I'd like to nominate Laura as the chairperson. She's been at this for a while and did a great addition, if you would.
You would do a good job. I don't want to.
You're saying I'll tell people when to shut up.
That would
Just
be
me.
awesome.
Let everybody else talk. You just tell me to shut up. Think about that. I mean, that would be good enough right there, right?
Yeah, right. Think of the perks.
You can sit up here.
Do I have a, is that a first? Do I need a second?
First.
Or do we-
Second that.
Okay.
Do you want a rebuttal?
Yeah, nice.
Only once a month.
Yeah.
All right. What happens now? All right. All in favor of Laura Oliver being our new chairperson?
Aye.
Any nays? All right, unanimously you won. That's pretty cool. Put that in the books.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Do I have a nominee for a vice chairperson?
I'll nominate Jim.
Nice.
Can I second that?
I made it possible.
I'll even be on time.
Oh,
Put that in my. Second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, yeah. All right. Another unanimous win. This is going well. Any nominees for secretary?
Do we have to have a secretary?
I think we
You have to, yeah, you can like bypass those because
Yeah, we generally haven't had those in the past.
David Woods is doing the note taking of the treasurer. We take care of the treasurer.
Sounds good. Okay. Next order of new business, removing TAC. I told you it's spicy tonight. We want to have any discussion about that, about dissolving TAC so that, we can possibly get some more members on TTC.
Well, the question was, is TAC relevant still with TC and how we've put these groups together so that we could cut down on the amount of time we were spending as staff having to make presentations, so we were just repeating everything. So TTC has really taken the reins as to getting money out to help with marketing, budgeting for websites, budgeting for other projects. So does TAC just need to form into like an ad hoc group, part of TTC, but they're not part of the voting membership because they can't vote on financial parts? That has to be TTC members. Would be state statute. So if we did that, what would it look like? Well, so I've kind of put that information together, and I pulled the bylaws out. So first off, you'd have to redo the bylaws that I've highlighted in red. That was on like the page 2 of the TTC bylaws. You'd have other ad hoc non-voting members. You're looking at those folks that would be appointed by or nominated by the mayor, appointed by the board as being your ad hoc. And what groups do you want to limit that to? So obviously chamber, I would say the county on TAC and the chamber on TAC were nominated. The county had a nomination. It could be anybody the county commission wants. We just are fortunate enough to have Karen here at this time. But that's if they are contributing. If they're not contributing finances to help with tourism, then they would lose that voice on the commission. But you could also have another, if you wanted to have somebody else from the public be part of it, another ad hoc member. Just don't want to get it too big. But your main 5 members will still have to stay as they are listed in here, because that's, again, through state statute as to what's required and the businesses that they're involved in. So Nicole French resigned. She is not part of TTC anymore. She's busy with traveling to Kansas City and doing other things. So we have to find somebody else that has a business interest in tourism as part, or general business interest that we have to bring on to TTC. So that'll be the next step, that we have to find the 5th person, because at this point we're up to 4. So if you wanted to then do away with TAC, then the Board of Aldermen have to dissolve it. That's in the second part of all of your paperwork, showing the bylaws from when TAC was adopted. For dissolution, the council may dissolve it by the order of the mayor of the same city of St. Genevieve with consent of the Board of Aldermen.
We just referred to it as the Tourism Commission at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think what I understand is you don't want just a TTC though. You want some other voices to be a part of that. So I don't want to just do away with others. Anybody can attend a meeting, but to be at the table as well as the TTC members is the feeling I got. We don't have to change anything, because this was the change we made 3 or 4 years ago to combine the groups. We just have been having problems finding enough people for both groups, the TAC and the TTC, to get enough people for our quorum so we can vote on things. If we're going to spend money, so we can vote on spending the money.
I just think for me, it's the confusion of how many TAC members and how many TTC members. So TAC members, for example, me, Joe, Karen, we know we don't have a voting right, but then the other people that were missing, like we had Donna on here, we had Dee on here, or I think Dee was.
He was TTC, yeah.
Candy, we had a few others, and then they never showed up. So were those seats vacant, or did they just go away? That's, you know what I mean? That's where I feel like.
Yeah, when you have vacancies, oftentimes you can't meet a quorum if that body needs a vote.
Right, exactly.
So they were nominated, appointed, and then didn't show up. So, we had to replace with that business. So that's what becomes difficult for TTC because of the requirements of state statute. Whereas TAC is open to whoever you want to, that gets nominated and the board appoints.
I mean, I'm fine just being like the liaison for chamber, and I'm sure you are for city and county too. That's not a big deal. I just wanted to, which is so confusing sometimes. Like, can I vote? Can I? Yay!
I know.
What
Yeah.
am I doing here?
Right.
Yeah.
It's because of the financial part that I don't want to confuse it if we get audited and it's like, well, who all voted for it? And if we have a quorum of all members, but it's like a 4-3 vote, did you have enough TTC members vote for something technically? And you gave that money or granted that money to somebody and you weren't supposed to.
So if we get combined, do we lose the opportunity to have a voice in the room of our choosing? We have so much flexibility of who can be at the table with TAC, correct?
Yes.
I mean, you might want to have just some random member at large who might not be a business owner but someone you value, their tourism experience.
But again, that person is just advisory.
Yes,
They're not,
yes.
they're not part of the voting membership.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you still might want them at the table. Do you lose that if you combine?
If we can, no, we're not technically combining. We're doing away with TAC
It'd just be.
and then just adding ad hoc members. How many ad hoc members do you want?
So we could add that person as an ad.
Yeah. I mean, you can make that a part of, here's the other folks that we want to be part of.
It's non-voting,
But those
non-voting members that have a voice in the community.
Right, like the aldermen have, or at most of our meetings, we make appointments to all of our other committees. They're not voting members, but they can attend. And that's how you kind of make that connection between that committee and the board. So Joe can bring back the information from this meeting that I may not have picked up or Aaron might not have picked up, but he can relay that to the board. That's what you want. You do want that kind of connection. But who else do you want? And I made some suggestions just to kind of give you a start on to think about that.
Am I hearing correctly that you prefer to leave things the way they are?
No, I want to change it.
Okay.
Sorry. I don't want to sound like I'm promoting one thing over another, but yes, I think TTC needs to be in and of itself. You can have some other members advise, but in my experience, we've had just Tourism Tax Commission as a group, and they voted on stuff, had people present, or we brought the information to them and had that as just a single group. We're actually adding on by having others with voices at the table.
All right.
And I agree with you, Happy, because I feel like we don't really advise anyway, because before now, we weren't getting it ahead of time. We were just getting it, oh, here's all the ads I've already taken out. Well, we didn't have any advice on any of that stuff. So I think we were just kind of like fillers, basically. And so I'm all for it. I don't have a problem with just being an ad hoc or whatever. That's fine. But I understand why you'd want to do that.
And previously, when I was on TTC, we appreciated either TAC members or members of the community coming in, especially if there were at certain times of the year when we were presenting budget items and creating input for the next quarter. The community came in and their input was extremely helpful. And it's nice to have them available, but they're not necessarily need to be there. If some of them have special interests, and having them come when those presentations are made is very worthwhile. But not necessarily if they're, because of the TAC bylaws, it's hard for them to form a body.
Right.
But we haven't, to be honest, Tom, we haven't done that in a long time. We haven't been brought to the table for several years with stuff like that.
Right.
It's already
It's been
decided.
several years since I've been on.
Right. Back then, it was great.
I think we maybe can make a concerted effort to let people in the community know that they're welcome.
I mean, the TTC meetings used to go pretty quick. You'd vote on the financial ones and then you'd move into TAC and,
But we had fewer advertising, we're doing it was much less advertising, much less knowledge of website and that at that time. But I also having input, both things are very good, but also with the limitations of the TAC bylaws, I think that makes that unit very cumbersome.
So if we move to just an ad hoc, then we have the flexibility to bring other individuals to the table.
When you say
As non-voting members.
As non-voting members. They, like with the bylaws, they had to be, didn't they have to be certain, for the TAC, didn't they have to be certain business owners or downtown?
and that will stay the same.
Even if they're just an ad hoc?
If you're ad hoc, you're additional. So you have your 5 members that will make up what state statute requires
for TTC.
for TTC.
Yeah, I'm not talking about TT.
Okay, I'm sorry.
TAC.
Right.
So, with TAC, you had like Donna, and we had, like, I don't know, Candy.
It's listed in the bylaws what businesses everybody wanted included.
But if we get rid of that, then it's just, we can bring others to,
You can-
to bring others to the,
Right, you can decide who you want to add to the ad hoc members for TTC, but then are you getting back to what you've already got now, technically?
But what would happen if you dissolve TAC and you just have your 5 members of the TTC, even if you had ad hoc members, they're non-voting, you would basically just, every time you had a vote, it would just be those 5 members voting on any item.
Right.
If we get rid of,
As it is now.
no, that's, well, on the TTC items,
Yes.
the financial things with the
Right.
grant or the
Correct.
tax dollars, the TTC are the only members that vote on those. But then when we start talking about initiatives that we want to go after, or some research, when we start talking about, so then the TAC and on that side of the meeting, then there's some discussion and motions and
Yeah, and the thing
Voice
is, if
votes.
if those people that make up the TAC, if they don't have a quorum and they decide on an issue that needs to be brought forward, they can't vote on it. It becomes a non-issue.
So it's a little
The
different.
same as discussion, like we would have if there weren't a TAC.
It's a little different now. The way it's set up is that we have a combo group.
Yeah.
So you have to have 5 of your 9 members present. So for TTC items, we have to have at least 3 members present. But when we have a group like this, if you have this many people, you can vote on anything you want. And I think the best example is going to be the marketing plan that everybody adopted.
Right.
That's where TAC and TTC combined, gave input, here's what we want to see, and this is what we voted on, and it was agreed to by everybody. But that was.
so technically it should have been just voted on by TTC.
Nope, because that is an over a broader issue in that there was finances coming from general fund as well as TTC funds, but we haven't voted for those funds yet. It was an overarching ad campaign or campaign for marketing for the city. So it required a vote of both groups so that there was some cohesion or some understanding of this is what we want to move forward with. That's kind of what TAC is for. Where are we going? What are we advertising? TTC is, we need to advertise this here because we need to increase tourism. So your ad hoc members are your TAC.
What would that look like if you dissolve TAC?
So if it's the three of you would be, and you already are used to non-voting membership, you're just non-voting members, but you're here as, if anything's brought up, anything that Aaron talks about, you can ask questions. But any vote would still be just those TTC members, kind of the way we've been doing it. And we'll be doing that next month when we look at budget.
But any ad hoc members that you're bringing in, they also wouldn't be able to vote on that.
Right.
For just the financials for TTC.
For anything that has an expenditure, yes.
But minutes and agendas and all that stuff, everyone can.
No, I don't, no, not ad hoc. Ad hoc's non-voting member. Yeah, I mean, across the board, it's non-voting.
Because currently we're doing that now.
Yeah, because it's a combined group and you're part of the quorum.
Okay.
So what would happen tonight? Do we need to make a motion for this to move forward or not move forward? Or are we just thinking about it for a month, or
That's
everyone's consensus?
That's up to you guys on how you want to, because I will take it to the Board of Aldermen as a work session.
Is everybody clear?
Yeah, so we would have to vote to discontinue it if we so chose,
That's why.
and then would go to the alderman for the,
So the Alderman would dissolve TAC, the TTC would then redo the bylaws and include new ad hoc members.
You're trying to get rid of me, aren't you? I just joined the TAC.
So we have this opening for general business interests, and you have a business, and you're generally interested.
You can still be an ad hoc member, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
We just want
Or you could be,
Do you have to be voted in as an ad hoc, or is it just people that?
Yes, well, you'd have to be appointed by the board as ad hoc.
and approved by the mayor and city council, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
So nothing's probably going to change.
well, I don't know if she wants to be a member of TTC, so as a regular full member.
I don't think she can be though, can she?
General business interest.
Yeah, she could easily do the TTC as well as just being an ad hoc member. I'm just curious how this, now that we have a new tourism director, the board is getting, both boards are getting full out with Jeff stepping down and now Nicole resigning. I'm just kind of curious how this would start to play out with the current structure once we get full membership. I think we're on a dawn of a new day with our new chair and vice chair too. So I'm very, optimistic.
The same.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just wondering if we had full member, because we always struggle every time we come because we're fighting quorums. And now the membership is finally getting back up there. I just wonder, how are you going to get ad hoc members that want to come here and
And the ad hoc members don't make the quorum. The voting members make the quorum.
correct. And do they want to come to a meeting where it doesn't matter if they're here and they don't get to vote on anything?
The ad hoc members have an interest in what's going on, and they have no other obligations. They would, they should attend the meeting.
So I guess I'm confused. How many members are you down as far as TTC?
One.
One. Okay.
With Nicole's resignation.
Okay. I thought maybe there were two. I just wanted just.
And how many are we down TAC wise? I mean,
I think TAC is full.
cool. Okay. All right. I'm
No,
four.
we're not.
No, we wouldn't be.
Oh, you're down two.
Two.
He's got three. You got Kreitler, Ane, and Alexander, and two vacancies.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not to be difficult, but I mean, I think it would be good if we were, I do agree with you. I think we're on an upward trajectory, and it would be nice if we do have the combined group to, for the important overarching philosophical decisions, to have more input and to have the TAC be able to throw in a vote here and there. Just, I'm kind of understanding it more, and I do think that will get more buy-in, and we could possibly, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you guys don't like just sitting here not having a voting. I mean, you'll
That's
be
the
here no
nature
matter
of
what.
I mean, if you're looking at David's attendance, I'm the only TAC member right now here today. Right? Is that correct?
No.
Chris, me and Chris. So me and Chris.
Christine,
Are they TACs or are they just
Well, we're-
liaisons?
He's just liaison. Karen is the TAC.
Yeah, okay. But we're still down by 2.
Yeah.
I just need to know if I need to say yes or no.
I agree.
Yeah, I know.
Which one is it, Dina?
Maybe.
Look
I think it's
inside
a good
yourself.
idea to combine. Or eliminate TAC.
Eliminate
Your
TAC.
5 voting TTCs, and you can ad hoc anyone you want for that vital tourism opinion. And there are people around that I think that would be,
and even if we had special things, when we know budgeting, things are coming up or a big thing on, invite more members of the community to those. And then, people that have been on TAC before, if they have an interest to come back in on those, because it is a community thing.
Well, TTC, ball's in your court, huh?
I'd like to make a motion to move forward with abolishing TAC. Is that right?
That sounds fine. Yes.
I second.
All in favor?
Is this the TTC voting
We don't get
to?
to vote.
Why not just ask?
I think anybody can vote. I think in this case, you're looking at the overall group.
All right.
If you're looking to
Whoa.
dissolve.
Well, unless Joe and Dina, you, or anybody else who feels that it's not the right decision to make, going from eliminating the TAC to an ad hoc.
I mean, I actually brought it to Happy a couple months ago, so.
And it would, and the board makes final decision. Board may say, no, we want it to stay just as is.
Board of Aldermen.
Board of all.
Board of Aldermen.
Okay.
So, but again, yeah, I think because we combined the groups, this is a group decision. So you've got a first and a second. So your group decision can be would be made by everybody in getting a vote because we do have a quorum of members.
All
So we
right.
need to call for it.
First and
All for a
second.
vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And just keep in mind, this is a recommendation only to the Board of Aldermen, and then we'll move forward with what their decision is.
So your role really is not, you're not changed.
My role will not change. I'm just thinking as a
Everybody
group, yeah.
All right, told you, pretty spicy stuff.
No.
All right, we'll move on to other business. We have 2 applications for marketing assistant grant applications.
I think it's just one.
Just one.
Yeah, my mistake.
Yeah.
I'll talk
Just
about
I only see one.
That was the band application.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
just the first one.
Everyone want to take a moment to look that over? Do I need to read?
If
This
you
out.
can't read it, I can read it.
No, oh, no.
And I kept running out
I'm
of.
just wondering, do I need to say any of this out loud?
I think the applicant could come up to the podium.
Oh, there we go. Here we are.
What I need to do, go up there. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you probably all know I have Music Art Love, and I'm down at the north end of Main Street. And I've been having live music for the Jour de Fête all these years, or the years that I've been here, since 2020. And for whatever reason, we cannot get traffic down to our area. I think it's because we don't really have any food or liquor. And Audubon's is great that they have the beer garden now where there's music there, but people stop because they look down. The Jure de Fête committee is great, but they can't get enough vendors to bring them down our way. They concentrate them more down the south part of Main Street. So I'm trying very hard with the bands, and everybody's appreciative of it, but I don't have the funds because I don't have a bar or a restaurant to make up the money. And it all just comes out of my pocket. I did get a small little grant from the Muni Band last year. It helps, but the bands alone cost, starting at $810 altogether, which is a pretty good deal. They're playing for cheaper, but there might be another band member. For the sound, it's $250. It just adds up. And then I did some flyers, with all the bands, trying to bring people down, saying, no, there's more music, because I cannot piggyback off of the Jure de Fête committee. They can't list my place because I'm not insured under them. So they might just say live music, but everybody thinks it's all these other places that they're listing. So I have to get the sandwich sign. I have to, do my mom and pop way of what I've been doing because I don't have the funds to try to bring them down our way and to get flyers out beforehand and during that day to show people, hey, come on down. I mean, what I say about Jure de Fête, it's a better weekend than the other weekends. I mean, it would be a lot better if I didn't have to pay all this money out of pocket to work really hard to bring people down. That's the gist of it.
Chris, how long is your music into the evening?
It stops when the Jure de Fête stops.
So it's 6?
6 on the first day and then 4 on the second.
And so your music will stop at 6?
Yes. And last year I tried to do it inside because I didn't have the sound equipment and it just bombed. I mean, people looked down, they couldn't hear the music. I had a speaker outside, but then it just wasn't enough. And it was a marked difference. And before that I was down at the very end. It's tough. It's tough being on that end. I don't know why, but like I said, I think it's because the vendors, they don't have enough to push them down our way. So I'm kind of there like, hey, look at me. And, it also helps the other businesses that are there. I mean, we're all struggling down there.
And this is going to be set up on the street outside?
Yes, under a tent.
I guess there's no conflict with another. I don't know where the next closest band is. You don't have to worry about.
No, last year I was trying to find out from the beer garden if it was going to be conflicting, and it didn't seem to be. If I had the band outside, it wouldn't have been a problem. And ours, most of my people are singles. There's just one band, and that's on Saturday night, or Saturday, 4 to 6. I think it's a great addition to the Jure de Fête, but,
You haven't heard back from the Muni Band, of course, because they don't meet till...
Right. And I don't know what they have left, and I don't know, like last year I asked for even more, and it was just, a little bit, because they were the only people that I asked money for. So I'm hoping to get it from you guys.
And so you're going to use the $1,000 to try to promote these bands during Jure de Fête. It's not actually for the expense of the bands. It's actually for...
Well, if I could, it'd be great if, wherever the money can come, it'd be great to use that money for payment of that, for the promotional before and during. I'm so used to doing things just my own way, making flyers. So if I can actually really get flyers in advance and really market it and get the bands and get enough to I could afford to do a good job on marketing.
So I think it's great. I would love to see half of that devoted to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get more people, since Jure de Fête can't do it for you.
And then the other half, she can
She can use for whatever she needs her band.
Yeah, I think a professional flyer or poster would be beneficial as well. But I agree. I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
I'd just like to throw something out, and again, I don't want to be negative on any of this, but is this going to open up a can of worms where if the Audubons wanted to request $1,000 for Jour de Fête, because we're paying also, but we have a beer garden, and I know it's different.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not saying what you want to do down there is wrong. I think it's great. I'm just trying to, are we opening up a can of worms for something else? Now, again, if we want to ask for money for already the event is there, the Jour de Fête is there. We're not starting a brand new event. Jour de Fête is there, and they're going to bring their thousands of people into St. Genevieve. So does it also meet the criteria where the money is not, you're not spending the money, or is it okay to spend the money on the music? Or does it all have to be for advertising and stuff like that? So are we saying it's okay to give $1,000 and some of that money you can use to spend towards the band? Some of it you can use for advertising? The criteria is for bringing, I think, people into St. John. I think it's a great idea, Chris. I
know,
feel
Jim.
like I really should even be talking.
Well, and I think it's a valid point, actually.
And I'd love to see something go for that. Again, I know I asked the person that does our scheduling, we're paying $1,800 for our music for the Jour de Fête weekend. But we have a beer garden. So we're going to get a lot of that money back through our beer sales. And you, of course, don't have that luxury or whatever. Maybe it's not a luxury. But nevertheless, you've got, I know you're trying to attract people down there, and I think it's a great idea.
I mean, this is a tough one because I mean you got other businesses probably like Danny's is probably paying for music for that weekend too, or the Oris pays for music and they generate and they don't come to ask us for marketing dollars. So if you look at like Danny's and the Oris, who are for-profit businesses, and the city is already paying into Jour de Fête to market and bring people into town, and whether it's in-kind donations that we do, that we support the Jour de Fête committee now that it's its own separate entity, or direct, funds. I mean, it's tough because you do have some businesses, at least three, that are paying for their own entertainment, bands, and marketing for all that stuff too. So I don't know. It's all so new on this grant application that it makes it tough in my mind to look at how do you fund this what happens if Danny's and the Oris and Audubon's or somebody else or one of the other entities comes in. At Lions Club, we normally go to the Muni band and ask, but we're a non-for-profit, so we do ask, and the park is open, and so we do, and I think that was one of those. But this is, I don't know.
And I don't know if the Jour de Fête committee lists like some of the bands that are.
I don't know. I don't look for advertisements for Jour de Fête, so I don't pay attention to the marketing because it's not really local. I think they do try to push out to the, because they're not really, as long as you know the weekend, then you know what's going to happen at So me as a local person, I don't pay attention to Jour de Fête marketing because I just doesn't even, I don't think about looking for it. It'd be different if it's the, VP fair or something like that, then I would look, but I don't.
Christine, do you have a budget for the advertising? You say you've got all things listed here. Do you have a budget and a cost for those already? And if you presenting that would probably help us make a decision on getting money for specific cost items.
I was assuming it'd be like 500 for like print and promo and all that. And
I think you might want to get individual line items on that and to present as a budget of things you would like to do.
I guess because I've never been able to do it that professionally, I'm just assuming it'd be like.
From doing your shirt string stuff that things cost, but instead of doing 500 of this to 1,000 and add up those amounts so you could actually make a presentation that has those dollars and cents in it. You've got your band costs, but you got down on individual things, but having that advertising, there's a long list here, but there needs to be a budget for that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I don't know, like, to be the hands and feet too, like, to actually deliver these, I'd have to hire somebody because I just don't have the time to go all over different towns, or if I did a radio ad, I know about how much that would be. That's like $250, I think.
Radium's expensive.
Yeah.
Do you think some of these bands are a draw that would come people if you advertise to other areas where Jura Fed is not advertising? Do you think you could market to get people to come to see?
I think so, because they're all from different cities, Hillsborough, St. Louis, Festus. I mean, they're not far, but they're in different cities that if they could take the flyers and spread it for where they are, and that would help.
I think it's a good idea, Chris. I really do. It would be nice, like Tom says, if we could split out music versus your advertising part of it and stuff like that. And I think I don't think it would take a lot of energy to do that, but I mean, whatever we can do for North Main, I think we live our building is on North Main. We're still part of your North Main.
Right.
Even though we're not that far down. But I think whatever can be done to help that, I'm 100% in favor of it. I just want to make sure that it meets the criteria of this here, because if it doesn't, and then somebody like, after we're gone, I'm going out of the Audubons, and the next person comes in and says, well, you gave money to them, why can't you give money to me? Or or whatever. So if it meets the criteria, if we feel it meets the criteria for what she's asking for, then I'm in favor of it, but I don't know if
I
it
don't know that our
actually meets.
criteria is detailed enough. I mean, this might be something that we need to take note of
Sure.
Yeah.
to make it more detailed.
What's the budget from?
In the truck show, you know, because he just talked about all the things that he bought with that money
That's true.
for
That's
next
true.
year.
Yeah.
So he didn't use it all on just advertising. You know what I'm saying? He
but
used it
Well, it was
for-
like banners and things like that.
I mean, that's-
Signage and banners and things. like
Well,
that.
yeah, that's true.
I think that's what
Yeah,
they're talking
I
about.
think that still falls under marketing and.
Yeah, but that's for day of stuff. It wasn't
Sure.
that,
Right.
you
So
know.
is there another document besides this application with actual criteria listed for these or no?
Yeah, we have a second one that's listed, but we didn't get too
It's not
narrow,
very detailed.
because then you limit what you're able to approve. So we didn't want to get too specific. It's just like, here are the requirements, here's what we'd like to see, here's what we like and how we would like to get through.
It's such a slippery slope though, you know, it's tough, because but we're just getting started with this, but what happens if someone, we're like,
Right.
we get into the minutia of you funded this,
Very
and,
valuable.
and why aren't you funding this? So then it exposes us to like a favorites game at that point. I don't like that part of it, so, I hate to narrow down stuff. Very
So we need to
thoughtful.
tell Corpus team.
That's okay. I mean, it is, I don't want to put anybody in a bad position. I really don't, because I can see what you're saying. It could be a slippery slope. And, if you had like guidelines of, well, we can help you because,
Can we approve her some money for advertising, just advertising at this point, so she can get started?
You're the chair. You can do whatever the heck you want.
That's why
Love it. I need a-
You're asking whether or not they think it's a good idea.
do you want me to leave the room? I
No, no.
don't want to put you all on a spot.
Yeah. Yeah, perhaps we could just, at this time, just approve a certain amount for advertising alone, and, I don't know.
I think that would help you in future grant applications, because if you say that it's going to be for other line items outside of marketing and advertising, I think you're going
Yeah,
to, well, can you help me pay for some of my food that we're going to be selling that, or I don't know.
I think you're right about
Yeah.
that. So unfortunately, it doesn't help you with all your music.
That's okay.
You still, you might very well get your grant.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
anything else.
That's and I don't mean get offset, but you requested 810 from.
It was almost like if I can't get anything here, like, and I don't know if
What was that 10, the 810?
it's actually the band.
Oh, it was? Oh,
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was the full cost for all the bands?
Earlier.
It's starting at 810.
Yeah, it was.
I didn't know they did, but I'm partially done.
Oh, so you might,
I might, you
you
know,
very well might get the majority, or all of your requests for the band costs.
maybe.
And so this would be, anything we approve today could go just all towards marketing.
Right.
I mean, does that leave her open to come back if she has more marketing expenses that she wants to take, or is this kind of
Is it a one-shot
No,
deal?
we-
Can you come back?
One and done.
Yeah, that's the problem now.
We meet July
One more meeting.
Yeah, one more.
18th, 19th, when's our next meeting?
It's
16th.
16th?
16.
And I have a
That doesn't
question.
really give her the time to advertise.
Well, that was the thing, like I've been waiting, you know, because if I,
4 weeks.
you know, do I put on sponsored by
Sometimes it,
TTC
That's
or?
actually required. on-
Okay.
on the-
Is there,
Fine print.
Okay.
All of that signage, everything has to have something, it denotes the city is providing funds for.
okay, that's why I waited, you know, because,
So it's on the bottom of the form that you filled out.
yeah, that's what I thought.
All right, we need to decide on a dollar amount for her marketing.
Or Chris, you could actually add the logo too. It says that you can add the logo
Okay.
instead of,
Okay.
unless you want to put the city of St. Genevieve.
Which one is the better? Is it TTC or City of St. Genevieve
I
or?
would just use the city logo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, City of St. Genevieve.
okay,
I'll send you that.
okay, great.
Or pick someone to pick the dollar amount.
You want to start with 250? You want to start with 500? What do you think?
We need documentation back.
I mean, that's a lot of advertising. If you're looking at Instagram and Facebook, $250 is
She's
quite a
doing
bit.
some print.
And some print, doing a flyer and some print, yeah. And that goes pretty fast with
If
newspaper
you're
or
doing
whatever.
print, 500, I mean, 250 is not going to get you far if you do print.
Especially if you're doing these different towns.
Are you doing Facebook marketing? or-
Yeah.
And then are you doing newspaper print or just?
If I
flyer
can, that'd be great.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I move to approve the grant for $500 to be used for advertising.
I second. Those have more
With
discussion.
itemized, with itemized receipts or even, or do you need to see?
Are we going to ask everyone for itemized receipts?
I don't know. I just didn't know. I heard that I was overhearing your guys earlier. I didn't.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, but I think if you're going to ask one, you need to ask
Yeah,
everyone.
I agree.
Maybe that's something down the road.
Yeah.
So we don't push the issue at this point. We're still seeing how things work.
Yeah.
Right. Till we get burned.
Somebody,
Well, that's gotta be.
If you could keep your receipts and what you
Sure.
pay for those to present, that would, I think, be a great help.
okay, yeah. I mean, I don't mind giving back money if I don't use it. I mean, I really don't mind.
Establish that going
Oh, you're
forward.
gonna-
Yeah,
And,
No, I'm sure you will.
It's expensive.
yeah, you'll probably go over that of what you're gonna spend, so that makes it very easy to.
yeah.
I think you got a motion in a second.
Yeah.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
$500.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Okay, if there's nothing else, the next meeting will be on July 18th, 5:30.
I've got one.
I don't think that July date's right. I think it's July 16th.
Happy, tell us.
What's the 18th?
It's July 15th, third
18th to
Tuesday,
Thursday.
18th to Thursday. Happy, come on now.
So now, why not come to that?
It's always the same
Yes,
meeting day of the chamber board meeting, and I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, the old.
yes, yes, because nothing's happened yet.
yeah.
You cater lunch to them?
Well, I'm going to-
I've got one before we, I was out of town and it's my fault and I just can't get it all done. So I wanted to have yesterday to have the, county tax, county bed tax, lodging tax, talk. So I'm gonna try to schedule that, send out a new request for that, the county-wide one. But I would like to, while we're here, also talk about increasing the city one from that 2 to 3%. So I don't know if those are separate items. They would be different items on a ballot, because they wouldn't be merged, they'd be separate. So I'd like to talk a little bit about that tonight, about increasing the city lodging tax from 2% to 3%.
I think you just do one or the other. first. I don't think you're gonna get both. That's my opinion on it, though. I think you go for the county first and get it at 2%.
The county will only allow us to put it on the ballot at 1% because that's where you have to start. And it would, yeah, I think,
State statute, yeah.
and then you can increase it, maybe at the next vote even. I don't know how fast before you can raise that percentage, but right now the city's at 2%. And we can petition the county commissioners to put it on the ballot, for the 1% for the countywide. But I would also like, and I'm curious why you think that both of them might not pass, just because they're on the ballot. Like the county people wouldn't see the city one. The city people would see both taxes, being proposed.
I mean, it was just really hard to get the city tax approved all those years ago, and I don't want to see anything affect that, but it might. I mean, I didn't know that it was only 1% state statute. I didn't
Because
know
we
that.
don't have anything similar to that, on our, any other similar tax like that. It has to start out at 1%.
The county only qualifies for one section of that part of the code. At this point, it's 1%. And that's it.
Okay.
So
Well, then maybe it does make sense to go for both.
If you look, we're roughly bringing in $30-something thousand for our lodging tax now at 2%. So it would be 15,000. If you raise it from 2% to 3%, it might be another 15,000. So it would bring in roughly, unless lodging, takes off crazy, but it'd be about another 15,000 roughly in revenue to increase it, that 1%. So I don't know what we need to do, if that has to go, if we need to make a motion to present to the board.
Yeah, make a recommendation.
A recommendation, I should say, yes, I'm sorry.
What,
To increase
what
the,
ballot? August or November? I'm sorry?
Can't be August.
yeah, it's too late, we missed that.
I missed it, okay.
Yeah. So it'd be in the November one.
November.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't pass, it doesn't pass, but I that's my thought. Any other,
As long as, I think before, the advertising, telling people what we were trying to do wasn't there. I think
Yeah.
now it's different. And I think we have a very good chance of taking up another % for the city.
It's definitely the education part of it that has to be done
Yeah.
correctly.
So do we need to move to make a recommendation?
Yes. Again, deciding as a group. full
Yes.
group.
Well, he can't make the motion. I'll make the motion. We make a recommendation to, what board? Board of Aldermen. To increase the, city
lodging?
lodging bed tax
To 3%.
3%.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Do you know what the deadline for the November ballot is?
End of August.
End of August, so we need to make sure we got that.
You all will see an email from me this week, inviting you to a county lodging tax grassroots planning meeting. I guess the goal will be just to bring people like the chamber, the TAC, TC, maybe like I'll invite the Rotary Club, the Lions Club, some of those groups that might help be good educational groups and supporters of this to put together a group to formally request the county commissioners to put that lodging tax on the ballot in November. So I'll try to get that done this week.
Do you think it'd be a good idea to make sure you had the microtel included in this? Because I don't know if they were in the very beginning, if they were in favor of it. I don't know if Ron was in favor of it when it first went out, but they're the largest.
Yeah, now they are for sure. I know the Ozora was not in favor of it originally, and he was one of the ones, but that was 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
it's a long time.
Everyone's so used to paying that lodging tax when you go anywhere.
Yeah, right.
So I think it was a fight 20 years ago when that first came out, and we've lost the first, first and only county initiative on that because it was just, a tax is what most people saw.
Mhm.
And it's really, it is a tax, of course, but it's not on locals. It's, it's to help
So the
promote.
visitor.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm sorry. I didn't-
No, that's great. I thank you. I'm glad that went through. I mean, this is important. I mean, most civilized places have a county bed tax. So, I mean,
And if you, I talked to a county clerk, Ms. Wolk, and she said that roughly they have about the same amount of lodging facilities. Not all the rooms are the same, so, but they would roughly, we think they would generate the same amount. Of course, it's different percentages because they would only start at 1% and we would be at 2 or 3%. But so the county might bring in 10 to 20,000. It wouldn't be a big amount, but if you get the city one and a county one, now you're talking maybe $20,000 to $30,000 in
kind of
additional.
doubling the budget.
But it's
That would
better
be, yeah,
than what
that would be
they're giving
amazing.
now.
I mean, an extra 30,000, 5,000, okay, that'd be great, but you get to start talking 20 and 30.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that kind of moves me to, I'll be putting together my budget over the next few months. I've already started. But yeah, things that I'd like to do. I mean, the price tag keeps going, so, and stuff that we're a little bit behind a lot of it behind the 8 ball on. So, it'd be nice to have extra money in the coffers to really start exercising. I mean, we've been moving in one direction when really we should have fingers kind of sprouting off in different directions, and it'll take a little bit of money to get over those humps of, we've been working with T-Rex arms here to get some fully extended arms. So yeah, thanks for making that a priority because we need it. So have a motion to adjourn? Oh, ready. All right, all in favor?
No more spicy.